Aston Villa when she came. I'm just going to say it's not Aston Villa, it's just the activities we provide, so don't think it's an Aston Villa who comes out. And this is Marie. Marie lives with us, and Alan comes and visits Marie, husband. He'll tell you a little bit about himself, and I think Marie will when he gets a bit comfortable. And I have taken consent from them in written. That so they've signed their lives
Don't
away.
believe it, don't We're here on the process.
So they've signed their lives away. I think we prepared a video which is not working, so I'm just going to talk with Marie and Alan. It is going to be just on the activities. Marie's been with us since January, and how we've made a difference in Marie's life. And we are a small home, and I'll talk about my activities later. So shall we just hear a little bit? Marie, do you want to talk?
Oh yeah, they brought me back to life. Yeah, they have. They've made me back to what I used to be. Yeah.
Did you know the difference? Did you know what you were like before?
No, I never knew a thing.
So Marie came to us in January. I went to assess Marie. Alan was on the middle floor in the hospital, and Marie was on the top floor. So Alan was caring for Marie, and he ended up being hospitalised. So we had to bring Marie in, and 25 hours out of 24, Marie used to say, I don't want to die, don't let me die.
She said, I'm not going to die, am I, Alan? And this... I'll be alright, I'll be alright. Yeah, I used to be visiting Mary in Heartlands Hospital, and I visited her every day, and she'd look at me and she'd say, Alan, I'm frightened. And I'd say, well, what are you frightened of, Mary? She said, I don't know. I'm frightened. She looked really frightened. And then it was like that, I'm not going to die, am I, Alan? I'm not going to die. And it was almost constant. And I used to feel this, I used to say to her, well, Mary, I'm sitting there holding your hand, talking to you and listening to you, but I don't know what else I can do. And she said, yes, I know that. And she there was, it was so frustrating. She was living in a hell. And what made it worse was the consultants at the hospital seemed to be more focused on her physical well-being rather than the mental side. And I used to get the impression that they considered that secondary because they couldn't explain. I'm not blaming them, they just couldn't explain why she was so frightened of dying. And I'll just say at this juncture now, Mary can't remember one little bit about when she was in hospital. Can you, Mary?
No. No, ever since I've been here, I'm a new person.
And yes, she was living in hell in hospital, she really was. And this is why I ended up in hospital myself, because I was feeling so much I'm sorry. I was feeling so much for her, and I couldn't do anything about it. And I was told, I had warning that it was going to happen, because the hospital staff would say to me, there's concern here about you not looking after yourself. You're coming here every day and they're afraid that you're going to be ill yourself if you don't do something about it. And that's what happened. Because of the anxiety, I was going home to an empty house, which I hated anyway. Because Mary and myself, we didn't have any children, we were and that's what contributed to me being really ill, I think. I was sleeping on the settee in the front room downstairs. I wasn't bothering to go to bed, and it was just the anxiety seemed to be pile up day after day, and every little decision that I had to make was an issue, seemed to be a major critical issue. And I ended up one night after a spell in A&E
Did you know that?
at
Some
Hartland,
of it, I didn't know that.
where to my mind, I was treated so unfeelingly, and they sent me home at 4 o'clock in the morning. They put me in a taxi, and I went home, and I came in the house, and I tried to sleep, and what I did, I just ran out into the street and started shouting at the top of my head, just shouting. I don't know why I did it, but it seemed to be just, I don't know why I did it, but something in me made me do it. And I ended up, I'm talking more about myself.
That's all
I
right.
am about that. Sorry about
No,
that.
you're all right.
I am, no.
I don't mind.
The thing is, Mary, since Mary went into the nursing home, she was, I was in hospital myself. We used to talk by phone.
On the phone, yeah,
Yeah.
Marie used to wait by the phone, and she used to ask us every day, every hour, is he coming out? We couldn't ring up hospital to find out, because they've got no children, how Alan was.
Yeah.
So we could not, only Alan, when he used to ring, we used to find out what he's like. But you eventually came out of the hospital.
Yeah.
You came out, and he came out with a CPN. Until then, because Marie didn't have anybody else, so we didn't know what Marie was like before, so we had to make judgments and we had to make assessments. Why Marie got to the point she was fear of dying, we didn't know. We had mental health input. Mental health, the doctors start with, I'm not a nurse, but I'm just going to say, we say she needs help, 25 milligram is the protocol, then I'll come back in 3 months, then I'll come back in 3 months. But we persevered with the mental health. Alan's CPN called me. He said, would you mind seeing me even though he's not he's not my person living at nursing home? I said no. So I had a meeting with Alan's CPN separately, because Alan rang me crying. He said, I thought as soon as I get out of the hospital, I'm taking her home. And I was the bad ogre then. I said, no, she's not going home. I said, because I've spoken to CPN. So we had a few breakdowns. I had to
That
get
was
the
plan A.
plan A. You can talk.
That was plan A. That was plan A. As soon as I left is it the CPN that you're talking
Yeah.
about? In Irvington. I'd get modifications done to the house. Stair lift put in, modifications to the bath and central heating, because we had no central heating. And then I'd bring Maddie home to live with me. But we had to face up to the facts, didn't we? That I wouldn't be able to.
We had to, me and my partner in crime, Marie, who was filming on the back, we had to sit with 2 boxes of tissues, and I had to tell Alan we're going to start to learn to live again. Which was, I said, we are going to start dating again. Which, he said, we've never been to a pub together, we're not dating. I said, no. I said, we've got a pub down the road. We started making arrangements. The carer would go with Marie and they'd have their me time. Then after 2-3 times, I said, okay, I was comfortable with Alan taking her down. So we slowly, it took us over 3 months going through that process. But in all this time, I think it took me about 3 months to gain Alan's faith, to say, okay, we are doing it, we are progressing. And the last time Marie came home, he sat actually in a CPN, I've got to tell this, we sat in an MDT meeting, Alan, and we were negotiating 4 hours. He wanted 5 hours. I said, no, it's going to be 3 hours, because we are looking at a patching, we're looking at a medication, we're looking at So I said, okay, first time we'll pay for the carers, or 2 times we'll pay it for the carer to come, so I know. By this time the OT had been arranged, everything had been arranged. So now we are, Marie's had 3 visits home. She doesn't say she wants to die. She used to run away from all our activities in a little Zimmer frame in the other room. And she wants us to go home with her next time. So I've got to find that date in her diary. So Marie, do you want to say something? I know he talks a lot.
No, I think he said everything.
Did he?
Yeah, there's nothing to say. I'm just so happy.
And
that's all.
first time Marie went, she said, oh, this home looks bigger. So she went to her house and she found that was smaller. So she still called it us as a home, because we don't, for us it's not a hotel like, we've got a very small home, whoever's visited. She said, oh, this home's bigger. And then the last time she came, she went with Alan and she come back, she said, I don't mind coming back. I don't grudge coming back home. She said, because I know it's for the right reasons. And out of them, do you know who's sensible? Go on, guess who's the sensible one out of them 2? Mary. Because he says,
You'll understand that first visit home was so crucial. And because Mary had become to feel comfortable in the home, it wasn't such a wrench for her to come back home after the first visit. That's what I was, and a lot of other people was secretly afraid of, that she just wouldn't want to go back. And if that had happened, it would have thrown, we'll call it a program, won't we? We'll call it a program. It would have thrown the program back ages, a long time. But we're on a steady course now, a little bit at a time, which we still have to negotiate.
that's where he comes. I don't.
You keep negotiating.
No, we're.
You keep negotiating.
Yeah.
I'll help you.
Normally, any of you know me, I'm very organised. Before I start the first, I know my end. But with this case, I'm going to call you a case because it's called right? I have had to hold my back and say no, baby steps, and we are doing baby steps because we don't know where it's going.
But we do agree eventually.
We do
So
agree
the next
eventually.
thing- The next thing, she will agree to
She will, no, don't you say that.
You have no choice.
the next step will be for Alka to agree to me taking Maddie home in an ordinary taxi.
Sorry, I know it's costing you.
Without the
I would
wheelchair.
not let Marie, I know all of you will agree, not leave a wheelchair at the moment because she's still unsteady on her frame. So I know, do you know some of the things you'll say? They'll
And
call
then
it
after
safeguarding on.
After that, the visits will be weekly instead of fortnightly. So
Look, do you know what he's doing now? He's setting. Alice, this is not your
it's going to
opportunity.
happen.
He's setting the rules. And guess what? And guess what? We've done this 3 times a
He's
week.
having me working.
So imagine on your door, Mary, and you know when he comes up to my door, what do you do now? Go on, show it to them, what do you do? He gives me curtsy, he'll stand there. Okay, madam. Look, that's what he says. So,
But that's the upshot of it all, and in a nutshell is 10 months ago our lives were in Wrexham, and
Yeah.
I'm going to start again, but I wouldn't have dared to hope that this situation would come about. I wouldn't have dared to. But here we are. I can't explain it. We just have to be thankful and grateful. And plus the practical side, Alka's staff were so patient and yet hard in a way, because they wouldn't listen to any negative talk from Maddie at all. If she says, I'm not going to die, am I? They'd say, you're not here to die, well, I'm not going to talk to you about dying. And they'd try
Yeah,
to...
they used to say that.
we did a 10 template. I don't know all the good things you're telling. We did all the, I've got regular visitors. I know all of you've got them. They'll come. Marie, are you okay? I'm not. No, don't. Oh God, no. So I did a template for all my visitors. If you are talking to Marie, you're most welcome to. This is how you talk. So I had to re-educate all the visitors, all the staff.
Yes,
That
you did.
we are not talk about, we're not talking about dying. So I don't know if the mental health, we did change a lot of meds for, and it was thankful one of the doctors who came, he noticed some signs, so procyclid didn't start it because of the jaw's goat. So she had a lots of meds which was started. But now, Marie likes her room, even though it is by the construction room right at the end, because we are doing construction. And we hope we will carry on with the weekly visits, but I think taxis, normal taxis are a bit
Fortnightly visits
fortnightly. We're kind of
at the
sticking up.
moment.
Oh, you've just been promised
No,
weekly.
it is.
We'll agree to
Oh,
it.
we'll agree. We're not going on without the wheelchair at the moment.
Weekly, so you negotiate.
Yeah. Because.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Do you agree?
I feel better.
Do you feel better?
Yeah, like because I wonder how I'd be in an ordinary car, because I haven't been in one for a long time.
So, after Marie did get to the point of I'm dying, the second thing was I'm going to be sick. Then she had a fear of hospitals, right? So when she had a fear of hospitals, once or twice our doctor surgery was really, really busy, and I picked the phone up, you're coming out, and she's not going to the hospital, and that's that. So we did manage once she went, but after that we have tried our best for Marie not to go to hospital, because I think that's the fear which she had in December when she went. We would have been 10 months, going back. Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
And now she sits there and plays with all the activities which you've seen, but you can go on my Facebook page, which we do put activities on. And I know, conscious of the time, just I was going to say, if it opens up, that's my face. Oh God, where is it gone?
Do we get paid now?
She's my inspector, she's coming tomorrow. Look. So I would say in the end it's a combination of factors and nothing which you all don't do, right? We all do activities. I'm not going to call it activities from January. Marie doesn't want to call it fun times, but I'm taking away from activities. I don't do an activity at home. So you can find new things when you come in my home. I do not have group activities every day. Maybe CQC expects it because it becomes monotonous. It's not a novelty. We do it 3 times a week, yeah? And it's for an hour. CQC doesn't realise, I think you should realise, Jenny, that getting 10 or 12 people in a room for an activity, you have to tell the night staff to start for the next 11:30. So if that an hour of activity is enough for a nursing home, don't expect any more of us. No, where's the inspectors? I should tell them the next time. So, for us, it is, you get 50, 20, 12 people up, you'll sit them in the room. By the time you put the 10th person, first one would lead toileting.
Yeah.
You agree? So I'm going to campaign for you to CQC, though you don't And it depends. Currently, we have people, right? For the last 2 years, I could not demonstrate the activities because we are end of life people, yeah? People have different abilities. A mix of residential and a mix of nursing, you can still show how your activities, we couldn't. So we look in a lucky phase for the last 3 months that 10 or 15 people can demonstrate that. So we're going to carry on being good. I can't get outstanding because I can't have everybody singing and dancing, but I pride myself in 10 years I've been there, 7 years as a manager, 3 years doing rota. I didn't know what to do with the rota, what rota looked like, because I've got an account background and I've got, what do you call it, I did ACCA and I stopped because I went into the caring. I haven't had a pressure sore. I haven't had one pressure sew in my home since 7 or 8 years, and that's what I pride in. So,
Sorry, I'm dead or what?
sure, I'm not telling you. Any bottoms red. Any bottoms red. And bottoms red.
Bottoms red.
Yeah.
Red book.
Don't see what's he gonna say.
Painful bottom.
And
Painful bottom. There you go.
what's your doing?
And we continuously revise our activities, and with the types of people. I do activities, Marie does them. In January she'll be stomping in my office. Nobody wants anything done today, nobody's up, nobody wants to do this. I've just had a word with people. So we are expected to do things to document. They don't look, I don't do a people, we stop our home, 20 minutes we have to talk to people now. Everybody talks to people.
Yeah.
When personal care is given, when food's given, communication is done all the time. I don't get my work done. I've got 3 people who walk in my sit in my office. So out of my 8.5 hours, an hour and a half, I've got Marie, I've got 2 other people. Can I have a word with you after lunch? Can I, do you know, so we are there, open all the time. This is what activities is.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what, you know, care is, not ticking boxes, guys. So if anybody comes and condemns you that you haven't got a great singing activities, don't go for it. I don't go for it. It's the people's lives you change. This is a 10 months work for me, right? And I've got 3 other people who I've worked on one-to-one, and we take work home. Now, I used to tell her not to die. Guess how? First thing she asked me, what did she ask me? Have they given you food? Did she ask?
We did give her food. We did.
You did? Oh, we don't understand.
We always look after her.
So it's the other way round. It is. And even though Marie didn't have kids, and I think she's still got that mumsy nature to know what women do. If I'm there past 4:35, because I'm there 7:30, she'll say, "You're not going home yet?" And then, so it's the kind of the relationship. She will. Thank you very much.
Thank you.